So first, we looked at label characteristics, two major label characteristics. And what is that relationship between the label characteristics and the perceived price? Is it a direct relationship, or is there some stuff in between that kind of gets in the way? And there are some stuff that is in between. So in running everything, there was a label attractiveness and perceived quality were our mediators. And so this was kind of our basic theory. You will see this throughout the presentation. I'm sure you'll have it memorized by the end. So firstly, as we get into it, we're going to talk about color and what relationship and how that kind of pertain to this. So talking about color, there are two major things that we look at in color. First, you have the hue. This is how, on the visible light spectrum, what are you actually seeing? What is the wavelength? Are you seeing the purple or are you seeing the red? That sort of information. And then you have the brightness, the absence or thereof color. Is it a dark red or is it a light red? And that information. And this is actually how we collected the data on the survey. So the person would see this heat map, and what they would do is, based off whatever label they were looking at, they would click somewhere within this. If I had a laser pointer, it would probably be cooler. But you could click somewhere within the screen, and we're able to get a horizontal hue of what color it is, and then also what level of brightness or the absence of green or whichever color it was is. So we're actually able to get 2 points of data per click. And then they would also do it twice for the first color notice and the second color notice. So this is actually an example from the actual survey. So you would see the wine label, and Sarah, you say your first color notice is white. So you would click within this white region. And then the second color notice is the red. So from that, we would get the hue coordinate and the brightness coordinate. So we're able to get two sets of data. And this is another label. Maybe with this one, you would say, what, a green, a purple, blue, and white. Those are probably the main colors you would see. So they would click within this region. Also, with those two data points, the first color notice and the second color notice, we were able to get a complementarity set of data. So we can take where along that the hue axis of the visible light spectrum between the different colors. If they do click in a yellow and a purple, you can see based off the color where there's a high level of complementarity. So there's a big difference in the color. They stand out next to each other. So we wanted to see if companies were using different colored labels on the actual color spectrum. Are they trying to stand out, or do they want them to be warm colors that are next to each other? And then the other one was actually the brightness. So when you have two different colors that are different on the vertical axis, you're getting two different levels of dark green to light red and different things like that. So we're able to get two of those data points. So the summary of the color is actually six sets of data from just 2 points. So you have your first color notice, your second color notice, and then the contrast based on the color wheel. And then you have the brightness, first color notice, second color notice, and then the different levels and weights of the actual colors. So back to the amazing theory model, we will look at the actual design features. These are different attributes of the label that we adapted from the Journal of Marketing. When they went through and they were looking at consumer labels and different things, they actually came out with 8, and we used 3 of them within the study. The first one is actually natural. This is something organic, non-man-made. This is something very basic, comes out of there, very appealing. So when we were actually going through this, we were training the participants on what these 3 features were. So we actually used these labels. So here you see a building, very man-made, very bulky, maybe not appealing. And then you have the grapevines. They're organic, man-made. They come out of the ground, really nice and appealing. And the second one is symmetry. So this is balance along the X and Y axis. Consistent, very orderly, easy to see. So here you see a label that is left dominant to y'all. And then you have a label that is very symmetric, very nice, clean, and orderly. Then you have elaborate. This is very complex, active depth, a lot going on. You have a pretty border. So here you see one that's plain, nothing very major going on. And you have a very intricate border, very complex design of the font. And so those are the 3 main things that we were looking at. So with those 3 questions, this is how we asked them. So again, the respondent will see one of the labels. There were 8 labels within the study. So the person sees that label and then individually will rate that label on the 3 different design elements. So they would say, what level of elaborateness So they either go from 0 to not at all, or 10 to extremely elaborate. And we were looking for labels that have high and low to meet the different combinations of the three different design features to make sure that we kind of hit each category. And then again, they would see another label. They would do it 8 times for the 8 labels individually, and then they would do it again, all over again for each 2 designs. So a summary, these are all our color data that we pulled away, then the design features, each of the 3 design features we were gathering piece data. And then, well, now so first, we're going to look at label attractiveness and perceived quality, and then the end goal of perceived price. So this is how we asked the label attractive question. We wanted to, how attractive is this label to you? Is it, on a scale of 0 to 10, is it very unattractive or very attractive? We wanted to know their personal perception of the actual label. What does it look like not knowing any information, just based off of what the picture of the label is? And then again, with the perceived quality, we asked them, based on the label above, how would you rate the quality of this wine? Again, low being 0, high being 10. Just a basic perception of this bottle. Price. How do you feel that this bottle of wine would be? Very inexpensive or very expensive? We were definitely looking at college students, and some maybe might have been under the age, but it was we got really great data, so it was pretty awesome. So this is actually the 8 labels that we used. You can see it's a wide variety of colors and different dimensions. We really wanted to hit on that the 2 by 2 by 2 of all the different label combinations between the design elements and along the color spectrum, so we were getting good color data also. So how we did our data, it was actually an online survey. In the Rawls College of Business, we have an RSRP program, so a lot of students can get on and take any surveys going on that doctoral students, MBA students, and an undergraduate like myself are doing research. We had over 200 responses. So the data analysis, we did a repeated measures regression through SAS. We wanted to control for respondents' tendencies. So if a respondent was left heavy or right heavy, we wanted to know, so we were able to control for that variance in the respondents' tendencies. And then we used the path analysis to see that when we ran it, that there wasn't that direct relationship, so we knew that there was something going on in the middle between the perceived price and the actual label characteristics, so we knew we were going to need to run that path model to get the full circle. So this is our results. So we ran it on a 0.005 scale, and that is very restrictive. We wanted to know that there was going to be some relationships, but we wanted them to be very strong relationships that we really could trust. And so in going through all of this, 65% of our variance for the perceived price comes from the rest of the model. So we were very happy about that number. And kind of going back, when we ran the path analysis, we ran the perceived price against everything else in the model. And what it did is it pulled out what was highly correlated. So then what we did next is that we ran the perceived quality, because that had the relationship. So we ran the perceived quality, and this is, you see where the errors are coming to. I don't want to stand in front of it. But you see where the errors are coming to, those had strong relationships. It's still on that 0.005 scale, so we wanted to make sure that it was very strong. And then again, label attractiveness correlated to perceived quality, so we ran it again. So we ran this path analysis 3 times. And this is the main things that we saw. We had the perceived quality coming to the price, but also we saw that color was very dominant on the perceived quality. I guess colors, people like colors, maybe it makes them feel good. But also with label attractiveness, that definitely came a lot from the design features. So maybe if it's an appealing label, they think it's pretty, or they really do like it. So my conclusion, the main things that we found, that 65% of our variance in the perceived price was explained through the model. We were very happy with that number. We were jumping up and down in the office. Label characteristics did not directly influence perceived price. Hence, we had the label attractiveness and the perceived quality. Color primarily influences perceived quality. We saw back here that the colors did come to the perceived quality, and that was their thing that they liked. And then label attractiveness is primarily influenced by the design features that we saw here. All 3 design features went straight to the label attractiveness.